The City of Waukegan is replacing about 20,000 water meters with a new automated meter, which provide for an accurate, timely, and reliable reading without having to gain access to customers' properties. The new meters, which will be replaced at no cost to the customers, will be able to identify high water usage and potential leaks. In addition, customers will be able to access their water usage and account information conveniently online. The first thing you need to do is schedule an appointment with Professional Meters, Inc. to have your old meter replaced with a new automated meter reader, AMR for short. Look for a postcard in the mail with the call information or call 866-270-9629. PMI will arrive at your scheduled time to install your meter. They will arrive on a truck or a van with a PMI logo. The PMI installer will have on a shirt or a jacket with a PMI logo and will carry a PMI ID badge. Installers will also wear booties over their work boots to ensure they do not carry dirt, mud, or water into your home or business. The installation process should take less than 30 minutes. The installer will take a photo of the old meter to obtain a record of your final meter reading and the condition of the pipes and fittings. The next step is to turn off your shut-off valves located on your water meter line near the meter. Remove the old meter and install the new AMR meter. The transmitter, which transmits your water usage data to the city, will be placed on a convenient location near the meter. The installer will take a photo of the new meter once it's installed. And that's it. The PMI installer will make sure everything is cleaned up, collect his tools, and head on to the next installation. You may receive a follow-up visit from a PMI manager to ensure your satisfaction with the installation and to make a quality control check of the meter installation. For more information about the automated meter reading installation program, please visit www.waukeganil.gov. If you have any questions regarding the meter installation, contact PMI at 866-270-9629 or the City of Waukegan City Collector at 847-599-2997.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the June 6, 2016 Waukegan City Council meeting. A roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Balco. Here. Alderman Taylor. Present. Alderman Cunningham. Present. Alderman Seeger.
Present.
Alderman Moiseo.
Here.
Alderman Villalobos. Present. Alderman Newsome.
Present.
Alderman Tempest.
Present.
Alderman May.
Present.
Please stand for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. Bishop Colbert.
Father, we thank you again for another city council meeting. We thank you, God, for all the progress we're making in Waukegan. We thank you for our mayor, for this council, for all the officials. We thank you for all of our citizens. Pray that we'll continue to work together and love each other. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Bishop. Thank you.
A special prayer for the Zion softball girls team who's playing tonight at 7. Hope they win. I just threw that out there. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey.
Yeah. Well, good evening. For those of you who may not notice or haven't been down to our lakefront, please go down there and see the changes we made, because I'm very pleased and elated with things that are happening down there. We put in a bioswale. We're putting in a bioswale to catch all the rainwater and flush it directly into the harbor, cleaning it as it goes, which is a plus. Tom Haggerty and our Waukegan Public Works crew built a turnaround down there that's absolutely beautiful. I didn't think I'd get so excited about these things as coming from law enforcement. But the bathhouse, as many of you know, is gone. We took that down this spring. We planted grass there, so it looks very nice. We added 20 or 30 new big belly garbage cans because refuge down there was a problem. That's been corrected. We hired 6, we're in the process of hiring 6 rangers to patrol the beach during the summer months. They're all part-time, and they're all students getting ready to go to college. The biggest thing down there we've got a sand sifter. Go down there and walk on the sand without your shoes, and you'll be amazed at how it feels. But, and of course, we did purchase the BRP building down there, and we hope to demolish that soon. So there's a lot of things happening down there. Along with that, there's going to be some free fitness activities this week on Saturday, June 11th at the Municipal Beach. Yoga with Marlene, 8 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock. Zumba with Maria Elena from 9:15 to 10:05. And Tai Chi with Master Jerry Cook from 10:15 to 11:15. And in addition, there are going to be summer concerts at the Steiner Pavilion at the Waukegan Municipal Beach, kickoff live with reggae music. Roots of Rock, June 11th from 4 to 6. Also, Waukegan Band returns to their home in the Steiner Pavilion at the Waukegan Beach for a free concert on Tuesday night, concerts on Tuesday beginning June 14th. The City of Waukegan and the Arts Council are presenting a free concert by internationally renowned jazz performers Khalil El-Zabar, All-Star Quartet, and also includes Harrison Bankhead. That is going to be June 17th. So please take advantage of all the free opportunities that we provide to you. You won't be disappointed. And we do have food trucks down there now too. So there's access to food and beverage right there. Okay, thank you. Next is minutes. Item A, motion to approve the regular minutes of May 16, 2016. Motion by Alderman Newsom, second by Alderman Ziegler. All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolutions, proclamations, presentations, appointments. Waukegan Main Street, please, for a presentation.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. On June 1st, Waukegan Main Street kicked off its Young Professionals group at Rosati's Pizza. The Young Professionals is a volunteer interest group targeting professionals ages 25 to 45, who work, live, play, or have a compassion for Waukegan. Specifically, the Young Professionals Group has the following objectives that support the Main Street movement through volunteerism, philanthropy, and membership development. They include provide programming, events to attract our targeted demographics, bring awareness of Waukegan's downtown resources to a new audience, and effect change in downtown Waukegan's financial landscape through economic development, design, and volunteerism. We are at a critical time in Waukegan's history, and we are looking for people with talent, drive, and passion to join this movement and make a difference. The next Young Professionals Group gathering is Friday, August 6th at 6 p.m. at Greentown Tavern. For those of us who have aged out of this group, I hope to see you at our annual Wine and Art Stroll, August 27th. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Item B, proclamation American Cancer Society Relay for Life. Motion by Alderman May, second by Alderman Moiseo to accept as presented. Marie, would you please read the resolution? Proclamation.
It's a proclamation. Whereas the American Cancer Society Relay for Life began in Tacoma, Washington in the mid-1980s and was founded by Dr. Gordy Klatt, who wanted to enhance the income of his local American Cancer Society office to show support for all of his patients who had battled cancer. And whereas the Relay for Life is the signature activity of the American Cancer Society and celebrates cancer survivors, caregivers, and remembers those lost to this disease, and empowers individuals and works with communities to fight back against cancer. And whereas this 9-hour walk exemplifies the motivation that one person can make a difference in the fight against a disease that has taken so much from us. And whereas proceeds for this event make possible local programs such as Ride to Recovery, Reach to Recovery, Look Good, Feel Better, and funds over $100 million in cancer research each year. And whereas the annual Relay for Life of Greater Waukegan Far North Shore will take place Saturday, the 18th of June at Bevere Park. And whereas the City of Waukegan and our partners encourage all to participate by walking or by providing sponsorship for a team or individual walkers. And now be it resolved that the Mayor Motley and the members of the Waukegan City Council do be hereby proclaim June 18th, 2016 as Relay for Life Day in the City of Waukegan. Be it further resolved that an embossed copy of this proclamation signed by the Mayor and the City Clerk be presented to the organization of Relay for Life of Greater Waukegan Far North Shore, dated the 6th day of June 2016.
Motion by Alderman May, second by Alderman Moiseo. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Item C, recognizing Waukegan High School District students for their achievements recently in the History Fair. With us are those students and teacher at the high school, Josh Bill. Mr. Bill, would you please present the students to us?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and City Council. Just a brief word about Chicago Metro History Fair. It's a national competition in which students become historians. And here in Waukegan, we have some outstanding historical scholars. All of the students who were called up today finished in the top 10 in their category in the state of Illinois. Needless to say, I'm very proud of them, and I'm here also on behalf of Mr. Phil Maione, another U.S. history teacher at the high school. He is incredibly proud of them, too. We have a wonderful historical society here, wonderful history here, and wonderful students here, so thank you for allowing us to be recognized. So I'm going to call the students and their projects and present them with certificates. And students, if you could come up and form a line here in front of the dais, and we'll get you your certificates.
Face the camera.
And face, yes, make sure you face the camera. For their project on Vietnamese immigration to Chicago, it was a website. Can I ask Helen Liu and Victoria Mpansa to please come up? For their project on Ray Bradbury and his being influenced by Waukegan and his influence in Waukegan, could I have Abby Crombie and Jackie Moran please come up? Yes, thank you.
I don't know.
Sorry. For their project on Hispanic immigration to Waukegan, could I have Cassie Amaya, Jonathan Marquina, Adriana Campa, Nestor Padilla, and Jaime Blanco to please come forward. And for their project about some of the Superfund sites and the individuals and organizations helping to clean up Waukegan, could I have Katie Flesher, Lisa Grider, Cara Stiver, Katia Perez, and Josie Blake please come forward. They're not in order anymore, so I'll help out.
And if I can't see you, okay, move over a little bit more. That's good. You guys can stand up great. Okay. 1, 2, 3, please. Cheese. One more. Got it. Thank you, everybody.
Give me that, Maria, give me that proclamation. There's someone who relay for white light here.
Yes.
Someone here.
Right there.
Hey, Dave.
Bases loaded. Bases were loaded.
My Maggie.
She walked 2 pitches. She walked 3 pitches. Bases loaded, Greg. Still only got out with 1 run. It's not bad. Bases loaded. Yeah, she walked 2.
Insurance Committee, Alderman Taylor, please.
The Insurance Committee met tonight at 5:45, and the following motions are up for vote. First motion, to authorize the proper city officials to settle a police department police liability claim C645-13-10065-01 for an amount not to exceed $140,000. Roll call. I so move.
Motion by Alderman Taylor, second by Alderman May. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
Motion authorizing the proper city officials to enter into an agreement with PMA Management Corporation for loss control services for the policy year beginning July 1st, 2016, for a total amount not to exceed $63,990 as presented, charged to 660-169924456. And I so move.
Motion by Alderman Taylor, second by Alderman May. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham. Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
Motion authorizing the proper city officials to renew the following lines of coverage with the listed carriers for the policy year July 1st, 2016, for a total amount not to exceed $1,055,151, excluding self-insured the policy year beginning July 1st, 2016, excluding self-insured retention, SIR, and/or deductibles as presented. Property/boiler and machinery, auto physical damage, cyber coverage, these are PEPIT, liability, state loss retention group, employees liability safety national, excess liability tourist national, workers' comp safety national, crime, travelers, and the Horton Group, the broker, charged to a variety of line items based on a cost allocation basis to be determined by the Director of Finance. And I so move.
Motion by Alderman Taylor, second by Alderman May. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham. Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo. Alderman Villalobos?
Aye.
Alderman Newsome?
Aye.
Alderman Tempest?
Aye.
Alderman May?
Motion authorizing the proper city officials to extend the contract with Alternative Surface Concepts, ASC, for third-party administrator, TPA, services, including the addition of a dedicated claims unit for the policy years beginning July 1st for a total annual amount, excluding certain per-claim costs, not to exceed $149,000 for 2016, $151,980 for 2017, and $155,779 for 2018 as presented, charged to a variety of line items based on a cost allocation basis to be determined by the Director of Finance. And I so move.
Motion by Alderman Taylor, second by Alderman May. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Valco?
Aye.
Alderman Taylor?
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham? Alderman Seager?
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo?
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos?
Aye.
Alderman Newsome?
Aye.
Alderman Tempest?
Aye.
Alderman May?
Next is the Public Safety Committee. Alderman Tempest, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Public Safety Committee recommends, and I so move, that the proper city officials be authorized to purchase two 2016 Ford F-450 ambulance at the cooperative bid price as permitted by City Code, Chapter 2, Article 4, Division 2, Section 2-458 for $211,000 each, a total of $422,000, from Foster Coach Sales Incorporated, Horton Emergency Vehicles in Sterling, Illinois. Cooperative bid number 133. Funds for this purchase will be acquired by capital lease to be voted on at a later date, and I will so move.
Motion by Alderman Tempest, second by Alderman Newsome. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Valco?
Aye.
Alderman Taylor?
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham? Alderman Seager?
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo? Alderman Villalobos?
Aye.
Alderman Newsome?
Aye.
Alderman Tempest?
Aye.
Alderman May?
Item 2, the Public Safety Committee recommends, and I so move, that the proper city officials be authorized to make a change order of $13,541 to the original contract of $199,908 with LDV Incorporated for a revised total contract of $213,449. The additional fees will be paid with the $10,000 net proceeds from the old unit and $3,541 from the Federal Drug Asset Forfeiture Fund, line item 296, 6296, 26493, and I would so move.
Motion by Alderman Tempest, second by Alderman Newsome. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Valco?
Aye.
Alderman Taylor?
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham? Alderman Seager?
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo? Alderman Villalobos?
Aye.
Alderman Newsome?
Aye.
Alderman Tempest?
Aye.
Alderman May?
That's the end of the public safety report.
Thank you, Alderman Tempest. Next is the Judiciary Committee. Alderman Moiseo, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Item A, adopt as presented an ordinance approving zoning calendar 2498, conditional use permit for a small engine repair shop, petitioner Angelo Medina, Jack and Sandy Bradbury, located at 925 Glenflora Avenue, and I so move.
Motion by Alderman Moiseo, second by Alderman Valco. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Valco?
Aye.
Alderman Taylor?
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham? Alderman Seager?
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo?
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos?
Aye.
Alderman Newsome?
Aye.
Alderman Tempest?
Aye.
Alderman May?
Item B, adopt as presented an ordinance approving zoning calendar V-4-16, vacation of Brookside Avenue east of Lakewood Avenue, petitioner Southwind Financial LTD, and I so move.
Motion by Alderman Moiseo, second by Alderman Valco. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Valco?
Aye.
Alderman Taylor?
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham? Alderman Seager?
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo?
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos?
Aye.
Alderman Newsome?
Aye.
Alderman Tempest?
Aye.
Alderman May?
That's it, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you. Under old business, motion to authorize the proper city officials to award the demolition of BRP building to the low qualified bidder, Lake County Grading of Libertyville, Illinois, for an amount not to exceed $2 million. Funds for this project are available in line item number 307-130-726-480. This was held over by Alderman Cunningham. I contacted all of you last week, and each of you had an opportunity to tour this building. with Mr. Haggerty and our environmental person, Gary Deegan. Any questions or concerns, I hope were addressed that day. If you have any further questions today before the vote, please feel free to ask. They're both present today. If you have any concerns or questions, please ask anytime during this vote. That being said,
I have a comment.
go
I
ahead.
hope it's questions.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. So I've been struggling with this decision for the last 3 weeks, especially after it came in $500,000 over budget. So then I went on the tour, which the tour was, I mean, I appreciate the time and energy for the gentleman to take us through the tour, and it does show us what a mess that building is. And I agreed on the tour that, yes, this building must come down. But then you start thinking at what cost. I asked our finance director for an updated stabilization report this week. And once we take $1.5 million out of there for the demolition of this property, which does not even cover the current bid, which is $500,000 short, we're going to be left with $380,000 in unrestricted funds in our stabilization fund. What does that mean? That means we're required by ordinance to keep 8% of our expenditures, so 1 month of expenses basically, in our rainy day stabilization fund. We're all very grateful for this stabilization fund. We didn't have one when I was first elected. After we make this payout, there's only going to be $380,000 in unrestricted funds. We have an obligation next year to pay another $2.5 million to a client from the Northwestern wrongful conviction. In the deal that we made, we had to pay $2.5 million for 3 years to a client who was wrongfully convicted, determined to be. So next year, and that's been coming out of our rainy day fund. So we have $383,000 of unrestricted funds in this balance, and we have a $2.5 million obligation to pay next year. We need to understand that there is no income into this fund. There is no source of income. There's no tax, no portion of a tax. What we put into this fund to keep it going is what surplus we're left with at the end of the year. That scares me, because where's the $2.5 million going to come from next year? I understand that we approved the $1.5 million transfer via the appropriation. But quite often when we're approving an appropriation, we want to get on with the business of the city, and we do it much quicker than we used to, and it's great because we can go about our business, and we're always told, if there's a portion of the budget that you're uncomfortable with, you don't worry about it. You always have a chance to vote on it again when it comes up to grant the bids or the contracts or whatever, the expenditure. So it's been a big struggle. I receive phone calls, not from a lot, I'd say maybe 3 or 4 constituents who pay attention or watch the city council meeting on Sunday nights, who applauded our efforts to take a step back and take a look at this project again, and not spend out of our means. I've struggled, I've done my research. I'm really very concerned about this $2.5 million payment that is knocking on our door for next year. There's no way out of it. And where's it going to come from, guys? We're going to raise taxes? We're going to go out for a bond? What happens if the railroad deal comes together? Where's that money going to come from? So I think we need to take a step back, look at what we're doing with our spending, because the money has to come from somewhere. I don't feel comfortable. There's no developer that's waiting in the wings. If he is, please step up. I feel that maybe they'll be able to participate. One thing that I did, another thing I took away from my tour was that the $1.5 million initial projection for the demolition became $2 million, And now that we're in there, 2 million's probably not gonna cover it either. So at what point?
It's, the
If I
contract
can't-
is not to exceed.
I'm sorry?
The contract is not to exceed 2 million.
I understand that. But when we asked the questions on the tour, I was told that the scope of the work may change because it's very likely that the 2 million's not gonna cover it. So unless I was misguided on my tour,
You weren't misguided. We had a meeting this morning with Gary Deegan, Tom Haggerty, and Lake County Grading. The issue was the asbestos. And they agreed to remove the asbestos at that rate, at $2 million, so it will not exceed $2 million.
Okay.
That was our concern. Gary Deegan and Tom Haggerty and I discussed that with Lake County Grading this morning,
Okay.
and their commitment was $2 million, not to exceed
Okay.
$2 million.
thank you for that, Mayor. This is without knowing we don't know what the environmental remediation is on this piece of property. It's huge. The property's huge. There's more than a dozen storage tanks underground. We have no idea what the future cost of this project is. I would like nothing more than to stand at the yacht club and look across the harbor and see sandy beaches and blue, beautiful Lake Michigan. More than anyone, I'm sure, or at least as much as anyone in this room. But we are just loading on so much debt to this city. Where are we gonna pay? We know we have a big bill to pay next year. Where is this $2.5 million coming from? I'm
Alderman.
struggling with the rainy day fund, Mayor, and I'm explaining to you the reason, because you're supposed to, this is our time for discussion. When it's time to vote, according to Robert's rules, that's when we vote. So I'm explaining my vote ahead of time and explaining to you why I'm not going to be able to support this initiative.
Okay, I'd like our treasurer to speak because the money is in a fund. Treasurer Schwab.
Mayor, recently, being concerned about the same issue, I put away $2.5 million that will, in a certificate that will mature just before that payment is due.
What does that mean? What does that mean? Where do we have $2.5 million that you were able to put your hands on?
I took it out of the rainy day fund. I have it invested. It'll mature just before our payment, our next $2.5 million payment is due.
Okay. What interest rate are you getting?
I got a report Thursday or Friday on the stabilization fund that did not reflect we took $2.5 million out of the rainy day fund. I need help with this, understanding this.
You know,
I'm sorry, Alderman.
Keep going.
No offense.
Please keep going.
Please let me
Thank you.
understand what you're saying to me, Dr. Schwab.
yes. Doc?
When was it taken out?
I moved $2.5 million into an investment that will mature just before, okay, that payment is due. The third installment of the 7.5 into 3 payments, each 2.5.
So where did you get $2.5 million to put into an investment?
I took it out of the rainy day funds.
With whose permission?
I'm the treasurer of City of Waukegan.
But
I invest the funds that we have. So
That would go against our ordinance. We would be about, if you took $2.5 million out of the rainy day fund, we have exceeded our minimum required, we have gone below our minimum required balance. If that happened, we violated our own ordinance. So please explain to me. I just need to understand this. Can someone in the room explain this to me?
Tina, do you?
Mayor, I think we have a bigger problem than that. In your explanation, Ms. Tina, how can you arbitrarily take money and invest it without council approval? I'm a little lost on that, so thank you at your explanation, Tina.
Alderman, I do that on a daily basis. That is my job.
But we need a job description from you. Because I'm 17 years up here. I've never heard no treasurer can move money and put it in an investment of that nature for that specific purpose without council approval. Now, maybe I'm slow. Maybe I haven't been around long enough. But Dr. Schwab, I've never heard of that before. Tina, I guess you'll be able to shed some light to it.
Possibly, if you come to my office at any given point, I'd be glad to explain. More than happy.
Okay, thank you.
So under the investment policy, the authority to make investments has been delegated to the treasurer, and the investment policy was adopted by City Council. So that's, as far as the treasurer's authority to make investments, he's absolutely correct, that has been delegated to him by ordinance. The $2.5 million, I believe, that Dr. Schwab is referring to, that's in a certificate of deposit, is actually in the Safety and Risk Fund, which is not the rainy day fund. The Safety and Risk Fund is where we pay for claims as well as our premiums, and it has been in a deficit position for several years.
Okay.
So that is different than the rainy day fund.
So help me understand how we took $2.5 million out of a fund that has a deficit.
Yeah.
It's cash. He invested $2.5 million in cash that's in that fund. The fund is in an overall deficit position because it owes, so much money is owed to that fund from the operating funds for years of not charging enough back. That's why now I charge claims. When we have claims, they come through, we're self-funded. So when we have a claim for medical or lawyer's fees or what have you for workers' comp, it runs through the Safety and Risk Fund. It's an internal service fund. I charge back the value of that claim plus 5% to the general fund, police department, or the water fund, public works department, to pay back that amount plus 5% to try to generate income to the Safety and Risk Fund over time. But the CD that Dr. Schwab, I believe, is referring to is not unrestricted funds in the rainy day fund. It is in the internal service fund that is safety and risk, that is in an overall deficit position.
And
So it's on paper. So now it's $2.5 million more in deficit?
No, I mean, it has a cash position, but it also has liabilities that exceed its assets.
Okay.
But now
so
let-
it's a shell game.
It's completely,
head.
it reported correctly on our financial statements that are on the website that are audited. I can provide balance sheets for all of the funds if the aldermen want that, but I do believe that there's different things being talked about here. But the stabilization fund, okay, is our rainy day fund. And that is where we have been making those payments to the Northwestern Client Trust every year. It is something that we'll have to incorporate into our operating budget next year. The treasurer will, from time to time, buy certificates of deposits with cash balances. I believe he gives you that report every month. So you might have a cash balance in the motor fuel tax fund. You might have a cash balance in another fund. That's not the same thing, I think, that we're talking about, to your point.
So invested whatever, there's still a deficit, and we're certainly not going to make $2.5 million in interest on any CD. If we are, please let me know.
Not one we could buy in this
that's what I'm
country.
saying. So if
What
we're
is the
borrowing
percentage we're
from
getting?
If we're borrowing from a fund that has more debt than it does assets,
The Safety and Risk Fund, like any internal service fund, is really intended to be a pass-through. At the end of the year, it should be net zero. For years, starting in probably about 2000, both health insurance claims and workers' compensation claims were not charged back at their full value to the generating departments that generated those claims. And as you see on the stabilization fund report, every month we're carrying a loan for the health insurance fund owes back over $600,000. So we continue to try to pay back those deficits over time through internal loans. But I think there's a little bit of a miscommunication on the stabilization fund is a separate kind of
correct.
bank account.
I got that.
Right.
So Either way, in my head, we don't have this money. We borrowed it from a fund that runs on a deficit. The investment, no, here, let me rephrase that. The investment that the treasurer made he used cash from a fund that runs at a deficit.
It currently has a balance sheet deficit, correct?
And how much is that deficit?
I really don't know off the top of my head. I really hate to ballpark when I'm going to be on TV on Sunday and someone will pull it up and say I'm wrong.
Is it in the millions?
It's probably still in the millions, but we've made a lot of ground. It was about over 12 million a few years ago in a deficit.
Question.
Thank you.
So if we ever had future lawsuits, where would that money come from? Because that's what you're tapping into is kind of what I'm getting out of here, right?
Right, so for lawsuits, I think we are doing a little bit, I think we're taking a little bit more aggressive and a sooner approach with our carriers to ensure that we have coverage. We've identified any years where we might have some issues as far as coverage goes. That particular lawsuit was unique in that that was a year that we didn't have sufficient coverage. Is that fair, Corporation Counsel?
No, it's very fair.
Okay. So the current litigation that we are aware of today, that we have open claims on, and I'm trying not to discuss too much in public session, we have identified the carriers for the years in question, and we do have coverage for those years. So that particular lawsuit was unfortunate for everyone involved, and we were essentially naked for coverage in one of the sensitive years. If you have judgments, you can issue judgment bonds. You can always borrow money to pay off a lawsuit. As far as the rainy day fund or the stabilization fund, one thing that when we close the books, which takes about 6 months after fiscal year end, if we do have a surplus, as Alderman May had mentioned, we do transfer that surplus automatically into the rainy day fund. Hopefully we'll be able to do it this year, for the fiscal year that just ended. It's way too early for me to make that prediction. We're still paying bills from last fiscal year. We just finished payroll for last fiscal year. So if we do have a surplus, we'll be depositing into that fund. I look at our special revenue funds every year. So for example, this year we'll be closing the COPS grant fund that we had because that's over. If there's a cash surplus in that fund, which I anticipate there being, we would transfer that into the rainy day funds as well. So if we have surplus, we do transfer it into the rainy day fund to try to build that fund back up.
Any other questions?
Yes.
Alderman Moiseo?
Alderman Taylor first, go ahead.
Okay. One is, I guess I had concerns about this to begin with. Now I'm just like totally overwhelmed. I will say that wanting this building torn down and lakefront development is something that we all want in the city. We want to increase our tax base, but that's the key phrase, wanting. We are in a place that we can't afford wants anymore. We have had these jewels of Waukegan that we have developed and failed through the years. We started with Meadowwood subdivision years ago. Then we did River Road. Look at the way we failed those people with, we can't even get a moratorium together. You know, if I had money coming from River Glen, all that was promised, we haven't sold a house out there yet. I don't have McGaw Park going. I don't have Vet Fest going. I don't have all this money coming in. This all sounds fantastic, but it's not here yet. So at this point, it's a want, this project going. It's not something that we need to do. And I'm not going to let the city down and have another Genesee Theater here. When I make my decisions on things, I make them on three things. What is the financial feasibility of things? Is this good for my residents? This is going to be a tax hike. It's got to be. We've got to raise the tax levy for next year. The national property tax average is 1.31%. Average in Illinois is 2.61. Here's what it is in Waukegan. If you use Gurnee schools, you're 4.5%. If you use Libertyville schools, you're 4.0. If you use Waukegan, you're 5.0. That is, you are paying more for your principal and interest than you are on your home. You can't afford to buy a home in Waukegan. Then we wonder, how do we address so many rentals? Well, you're gonna always have rentals if you continue this. You've got to stop it and make home ownership a possibility. Last, how do I make my decisions? How do I sleep at night? This is just totally irresponsible to me to even be considering this. I want to sleep at night. I can't do this. So I'm sorry. That's how I'm going to stay.
Alderman Moiseo?
You done? 14 years we've waited, at least I've waited since up here to try to get something done down there. And I understand Alderman May's points are very valid, and Alderman Taylor's points are very valid. But right now, we have all that land down there that has value, but we're getting zero out of it because we own it. We can't tax ourselves. I think we all understand the only way to get our tax rate down is we have to have some type of development. We have to get more development. We got to make the land that we have more valuable. Just that little development over on Grand Avenue and Green Bay Road with the gas station going in is huge. You have an area of land over there that had a bank on it, and that huge piece of land, and it was only generating property tax. Now it's going to generate property tax, increased property tax, and sales tax, and motor fuel tax, because the gas station's going there. So that's revenue coming in. Yeah, this is a little bit of a stretch, and I don't think that we can always plan up and plan for lawsuits and plan for things and plan for that. In my idea, this is the rainy day. We have a chance to get land ready, to get it developed. So to me, this is the rainy day. When is the rainy day? When we get a lawsuit again? Do we just fence every piece of property we have in Waukegan that's valuable? Just put a fence around it? Is that what we do? Just fence it. Say, I'm sorry, we don't have the money. There'll be no development. Your taxes are going to go up because we're not getting any more value out of the land we have. I understand Alderman Taylor's points and I understand Alderman May's points, but to me, this is the rainy day fund. And this discussion before had me a little bit worried, but it doesn't sound like, after Tina explained, it's just an accounting measure of where we put the money. If we got $300,000 in an account now and we have to pay somebody $2.5 million, are we going to be short $2 million? Are we? We're going to be short $2 million on the rainy day fund because we have to pay that. I thought it was coming out of the risk fund. Am I wrong?
Well, then we're doing something new than we've been doing the last 2 years.
Well, I'm asking that question. So if we got $300,000 in there, we go somebody two and a half, we're going to be short $2 million? Or do we have $2.5 million coming due on a CD that we have? Do we? Where do we put we get the $2.5 million from the CD, where do we put that?
This is not monopoly money.
I'm just asking.
$2.5 million came out of a fund with a negative balance.
Tina, you want to come explain this?
So just to clarify and to try to be as respectful as possible, the treasurer's role is really to manage the cash and to make investments of cash balances. It's really up to the legislative body how the funds are appropriated and spent every year. There is currently cash in the Safety and Risk Fund. You just approved a $1 million premium to pay for our insurance. Our self-insured retentions amounts on workers' comp is $750,000. That's our money. For property, our deductibles are $50,000. For general liability, it's $250,000. So the $1 million premium that we pay to the carriers, we don't even touch their money until a claim has gone over $750,000, for example. So there is currently some cash. The treasurer did invest that cash, but that cash likely will be used to pay for claims in the current 12-month period. When we do the budget for next year, we know we will have $2.5 million that we have to pay on a settlement in addition to some of the other claims that we'll be assuming, and that'll be part of the operating budget plan next year. So then we will look at the resources that we have available, including, like we did this year, potential spend down of balances. We have spent down fund balances in the past. Hopefully, we'll be able to contribute more to the stabilization fund once we close the books for the fiscal year that just ended, but we don't know that for sure yet. But just because there's money invested in a CD today does not necessarily encumber that specifically for a payment next year. That would really be up to the city council if they wanted to do that or not. But that safety and risk fund, Fund 660, just like our health internal service funds. Those funds have been upside down since I've worked here.
Yeah, Your Honor, I don't know if Alderman Mosey was finished. I think Alderman Taylor has some questions.
I guess it's about increasing the tax base, then I know we brought in money from this gas station, but by buying this property, we just took $188,000 off the tax rolls, not added to it. So like, I'm not really sure which direction.
How do we take, explain to me how we took 100, how we take it off.
It's
the tax.
$32,000 a year, by the way. It's not $108,000.
Okay, $32,000, you're still taking money out
Where do we take it out of? Help me out with that.
because we now own it.
Oh, that down there?
Yes.
We took $30,000 out of it. What's the potential for it? I don't
Yeah,
know.
but that potential may not be there for 4 or 5 years, depending on what environmental things we find on this property. It's not that I'm not willing to work on the lakefront, but you know what? Rather than take $250,000 out of the police fund for this, why don't we get some police officers on the lakefront so we don't have the chaos that we had on Memorial Day weekend? That would make the lakefront more appropriate. Who wants to come when you've got that kind of chaos going on? You can build all the buildings. We've done that. We built the Genesee Theater and people didn't come. So now it's time to look at, let's do what we have and make it the best that we can make it, rather than spreading ourselves so thin that I don't even have enough code enforcement officers. I don't have ambulances and fire trucks, because we have nice property on the lakefront that may or may not get developed in 5 years. I'm sorry, I just can't justify this in a million years. This would be letting my residents down, and I can't do it.
Anyone else?
Your Honor, I too would like to thank Mr. Deegan and Mr. Haggerty for taking their time out to walk myself and others through this plant. I struggle, or have struggled with the same decision. I have to go back to the original request of buying the building. When it was first approached to us, it was said the building was $1, then to $525,000, and later we learned of the $525,000, a third, if not half, that went to back taxes. So that means we paid our own taxes of money we bought a building for. Is that a building that we would like to have? I agree, I do. I think it's a nice piece of property. I like the dock that was there. I think it could get some great use out of that. But what scares me, more so than all the things we've talked about today, is I think 15 to 20 tanks that are in the ground, gas tanks, they're in the ground. The last time we had a situation like that, I think we had some liability issues when we were given the OMC property. Ray Vukovich is here. I'm pretty sure he can enlighten those freshman aldermen or new aldermen who's not aware of that. But that scares me, because that means now the EPA will now be guiding this cleanup. I'm more eager to find out what is exactly the cost of this entire project before we even move any farther or further with this. To have purchased this building without knowing the entire cleanup, demolition, and I must assume that our corporation counsel, if I know him the way we know him, that any liability that came with that building does not get passed on to us from the date of sale past. The date of sale forward, obviously we have some liability, but anything in the past does not transfer over to the city. I must assume that, because Steve is the best. These things scare me more than anything else. 15 to 20 tanks is the projected, the cleanup, the projected. If I had to make a recommendation, it would be either to vote it down or put it back in committee, give us an exact cost of where we're at with this particular property, and then make an informed decision, as has been said today. But if we need to move forward today, my vote will be no, because of those outstanding issues that exist with this property. And I truly believe if aldermen would have been a little bit more informed as to the overall problems that exist down there, I don't know if we would have bought this. I personally don't think we would have bought this, not at this time. Those are my thoughts, and you know, if there's a motion on the floor, which I think it is, call for the motion.
I'm sorry, could I ask a question before we do that?
Go ahead.
So Alderman Cunningham just made a statement, and maybe I got it wrong. Are you saying, Alderman Cunningham, that you're assuming that any liability, any problems that existed before we acquired the building, you don't think we're liable for them? I think we are.
Well, Corporation Counsel is here,
So
Steve.
let's ask.
When we had the discussion before, Alderman, the discussion was that we had discussed with our corporation or council advisor, who is our environmental attorney in Denver, that to do what be called a bona fide purchaser for value would not be worth the effort and the energy and the expenditure because of what he saw in the testing that came from the south parking lot. Then when we discussed the purchase, if you'll recall, we said that we felt any environmental issues underneath the slab that would be detected would be approachable through a grant from the EPA relative to the coke plant to the north, would most likely be the result of the leaching that would have come underneath this foundation. And the only way we're going to know exactly what's under there is if we take the slab up and we do a phase 2 core sample. But there's no way to limit what you do before, because the expenditure would have been exceeding what we felt the exposure was based upon our council's advice. And that's what we went through. That's when we took all last summer. We took 3 months postponing the closing, actually from May to October, to make sure we're on sound fitting, or that's what we thought was in the ground there. The tanks, as far as the tanks are concerned, the tanks are believed to be most likely filled with sand, which makes them a non-issue. We do not know that. But we're not addressing the tanks at this time. What I can assure you is that the demolition of the building will not increase or decrease anything we plan to do relative to any environmental work. In fact, it will enhance our approach in being able to determine what our exposure is.
So, what?
But when we purchase the building, we accept the existing liability. Yes, we can go to the EPA if it exists from the coke plant, but if it's from anything else, it's ours. When we bought it, we assumed the liability for this building.
And I go back, and Steve, and I'm glad you brought that up when we were discussing it, and I did hear you say that according to the environmental attorneys, there was limited amount of exposure. And maybe I misread that. I meant going forward, but do we know if there's any existing litigation out there as it pertains to this building? Are we aware, do we know that?
Nothing out there.
Alderman, when we closed this, we got title insurance from Chicago Title for $2.7 million. I included in the premium the cost of the demolition and the purchase and any exponential costs we might incur. If there are any lawsuits or anything pertaining to that relative to, other than the EPA, of course, as far as what the cleanup is not determined, any lawsuits, liens, or anything else will be the sole responsibility of Chicago Title to pay and take care of. They do not insure what the environmental dirt is. What they do ensure that we have clear title. Any lawsuits, liens, or anything that preceded May 12th will not be the responsibility of the city of Waukegan. They'll be the total responsibility of Chicago Title and Trust.
And that's insured at $2.7 million. Okay.
That's correct, sir.
Well, That's for title issues. It's not for any environmental issues, Sam.
No, it's for the lawsuits.
Correct. I understand that. I understand.
Okay.
Call for the question, please.
Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
No.
Alderman Cunningham.
No.
Alderman Seager.
No.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
In light of all this new information, my vote is going to have to be no.
Unfucking believable.
Alderman Tempest.
No.
Alderman May.
No.
Okay, new business. Item A, approval of payroll dated May 27, 2016, the amount of $1,838.52. Final payout dated May 27, 2016, in the amount of $39,387.54 and $32,357.13. Motion by Alderman Valco, seconded by Alderman Cunningham. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
Item B, approval of bills dated June 6, 2016. Motion by Alderman Valco, second by Alderman Cunningham. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk. Maria?
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
Approval of raffle sales application for Most Blessed Trinity Parish. Motion by Alderman Ziegler, second by Alderman Taylor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Item D, approval of block parties. Motion by Alderman Villalobos, second by Alderman Tempest. All those in favor?
Aye.
Item E, motion approving the program year 2016 Community Development Block Grant CDBG allocations as amended. Motion by Alderman May, second by Alderman Newsome. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
Item F, motion to approve a supplementing appropriation relative to the annual appropriation ordinance for the fiscal year May 1st, 2016 to April 30th, 2017, passed by City Council. Motion by Alderman Valco, second by Alderman Cunningham. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk. Go ahead.
Your Honor, this is as it relates to the extra money found for CDBG for the road program, is that?
Yes, that's what it is.
Okay, so I'm just thinking the public might be interested in that.
Is it out? Would you please step forward?
We voted on the allocation, so the
Vote on the-
appropriation allows us to
This is the
spend it.
appropriation, relative to the appropriation. This is supplemental.
The supplemental.
Go ahead, explain it,
spend
Izell.
We were notified, I gave all of the aldermen a copy of our information that we received from HUD on May 19th in the process of trying to get our annual action plan approved. Then they informed us that we have this $900,000+ that we also need to include. And because the appropriation ordinance had already been passed, then that also had to be changed, and so that's what this item is about.
So the good news is that there's an extra $900,000 that are going to be applied to the road program
Correct.
because of this found money, which is a big deal in the city. There's a budget of, when there's a budget of $8 million and it goes to $9 million, that's a big deal. And these roads are approved, this is approved spending by HUD as long as they're in CDBG.
And CDBG target areas, right?
Yeah,
Thank
it
you
has to
very
be
much. So that's a big
First,
deal.
second, sixth, and what,
Basically, first through sixth ward,
yeah.
where the majority of the areas are. We have some pockets in a couple of the other areas, but I think we got more than 900,000 in those 5 or 6 wards.
So that's great news.
Okay. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Villalobos.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
Audience time, Madam Clerk.
Michael Jones?
Never again.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. My name is Michael Jones. I live at 1429 12th Street, and what I am here about now is a home at 1513 12th Street, which is on the corner of 12th and Washington Park. The lawn, it's an abandoned home. It's not boarded up. The children catch the bus right there on the corner. Someone's been dumping a lot of pallets in there now. They started last week, and just other stuff has been thrown in there. The weeds are as high as my fence. My fence is a 6-foot fence along the east side. I've contacted my alderman. We've kind of tried to do something or whatever can be done, but it's really, really bad. And a lot of times we have things that go on, and people that say, well, why didn't you tell us? We didn't know that. And so I'm here to let the city know that we do have a problem, a real big problem. If a child or something would be snatched or anything bad happened there in that home, everybody would be upset, and then they would start doing things. I think that it could be a lot better if they do something before something happens. To my understanding, it's a bank that owns it. I don't know what bank owns that or whatever it is. Today, someone did come there and just cut a little bit. They didn't pick up anything. They really didn't cut the lawn that good. I wish you really could see it. I thought about trying to take some pictures and bring them to show you, but it's really, really bad. And I'm afraid that something's going to happen. All I can do is just tell you and plead that it needs to be taken care of right away. It's an ongoing problem that we have there, and it's just the weeds. If they would cut the lawn, I don't know if the city could do it and then build them, or I just don't know how it works, but I know it needs to be done, and that's what I'm here about today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Dave, is that on the list for to be cut? Is it on the list? It is? Okay. Thank you.
Margaret Carrasco?
Mike, thank you.
Margaret Carrasco, 532 North Lewis Avenue. Alderman Taylor, amen. Your statement earlier this evening is right on point. You know, there was a time when people would say one of the considered the most dangerous places to walk in the area was 10th Street. That's not the case now. It's Grand and Buttrick. Right now, coming down here, there are 5 squad cars down there, always, constantly, incidents happening. If it's not one thing, shootings going on there all the time. On Friday, May 27th, the Friday before the holiday Memorial Day weekend, at 7 in the morning, I receive a frantic, desperate call from Mr. Davalos, the owner of the bakery on the corner of Yeoman and Grant, who stated they had called an hour and a half ago pleading for an officer to come, and still there was no police officer to arrive. He asked that I call and see if, what was going on. I did. The response from the 911 dispatch was that apparently there was another emergency situation on the south side of Waukegan. Therefore, there was no police officer available. You could hear the gunshots over the phone when he was calling me. Really? Then we had the kickoff of Memorial Day weekend, which we already know what occurred. The riot down at the beach. Once again, and thank God no one was killed or seriously injured there. And according to the newspaper, there was one police officer. What is one police officer supposed to do with over 1,000 people there? Helpless. The only thing here, Mayor, it is is your responsibility in order to prevent any future tragedies or mayhem from occurring here, is to hire more police officers. I don't know where to get the money, but we cannot have emergency situations and not even have a police officer available. Thank you.
Clyde McLemore. Ralph Peterson.
Hello, everyone. City Council Attorney Steve Martin, I ask, do you know your job description? In case you don't, I would like to explain to you that it is to protect and stop costly litigations that's not in the best interest of the city, sir. City Attorney, I'm appalled that you would blatantly throw your credibility and integrity out the window as you have did this past week. Attorney, you provided false information. You misled, disrespected, and you lied to the council you sit up here with, the citizens, and Lisa Madigan's office, purposely with intent of covering up the illegal actions of your mayor. Good citizens of Waukegan, tonight you have seen a blatant display of that good old boy's attitude. As I walked in, I heard the conversation. This is what we must get rid of, and there's an opportunity. I say in a low voice tonight, Mayor Motley must be removed. It's as simple as checking his record out. There's no progress for the city of Waukegan, and as bad as I hate to say this, when we got rid of Waller, whom had no problem keeping the blade 10 inches in the backs of Lake County, when we got rid of him, the blade was withdrawn, you might say 5 inches, so it's only 5 in there now. It shouldn't be none, but progress is measured in turtle speed sometime. Now, what we must do is we must follow that same suit. Mayor Motley, he is the last of that good old boy's mentality. And to give you a fine example, you can clearly go to YouTube and see our good attorney who sits up there with a bold face. And I really wish he would address this, but I doubt it. He point blank lied in the press, sent false information to Lisa Madigan, stating that I cursed the mayor out first. I passed it. It's on the paper. Please read it. Unlike Mr. Peterson's story, Mayor Motley did not use profanity first. He even alluded to the fact that I even hollered at you guys and were shouting. And it's a shame. This is what we have representing our city. Citizens, please be smart. We must remove this. Mayor Motley, it is not personal, and whether you believe it or not, I do not dislike you. I dislike the way you handle this business, and I view you as a cop who never, ever had any business sitting in that seat.
Clyde
Thank you,
McLemore,
sir.
please.
I got a couple of issues. Mayor and Alderman, I am here and I ask y'all what's really going on with this Vet Fest. I've been coming to this council meeting every week. Promoters want to keep it a secret who's performing. The event's supposed to be honoring our vets. Then I read in the newspaper and that the date's been changed. $2.5 million. Out of none of y'all even know what fund it came out of. Then to invest it, what is the investment? What if investment fail? Wow. In my past, I learned if you don't see it, don't count it. Alderman Marzio, he used to be a teacher. Math is the entity of life. Please excuse my Aunt Sally, which really means 0 plus 0 equals 0. And if you spend it on money that you don't have, either you raise taxes or you go broke. Mr. Martin, I personally met with you 2 times, once with Mr. Blanks, Ralph Peterson, and Ron McAllister, and once one-on-one. Never have we had a comment about the public comment. Never was it addressed. So this was a lie that you put into the state's, to Lisa Manica's office, that you spoke with the 3 of us. That was a lie, because I never heard it. And I'm sitting here and tell you that I ain't never talked to you about it. And since I'm a union laborer and a certified asbestos worker, a bid never is going to be what it is. The thing about bidding is to bid low to get the job. And once you get the job and get started, then you ask for more money. That's how they pay their laborers. How I know? I've been doing it for 13 years. So if you think that this job is going to be just another $2 million, it's going to be some more after that, because you got to have a time limit to get it. So when they fall short, they go come to you, we need to pay for more. Just a little something about labor and construction. Thank you.
Brother Blanks?
Brother Blanks, founder, chief president, Black Abolition Movement for the Mind, 801 McAllister Avenue. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Long live the greatest greatness in the flesh and in the spirit and in the soul power of Muhammad Ali. Truly a champion for the people, in and out of the ring. So when I think about this city council ring that we step in every day to do battle and to throw haymakers and blows, to give injustice a bloody nose, I can't help but to think about Muhammad Ali and everything he stood for. Can you imagine telling a man like Muhammad Ali to sit down and to shut up in this city council chamber, as they called him at one time, the Louisville mouth of the South? But I would be quick to say, Mayor, that too often, much too often, you guys want to take things in your own hands. And truly, I would say Muhammad Ali definitely was a man who fought against good old boy systems and networks. And truly, he was a champion that stood and fought against, you know, unjust or injustice. You know, I'm looking at this here, and I recall when, you know, Ralph Peterson questioned your ability to lead, and I remember when you told him to sit down and to shut up, but it seems like the more things go on, nothing changed. Here is where you guys, according to the News Sun, aldermen adopt rule of decorum for audience time. I see you got more rules on the agenda this time. This is, or according to the News Sun, it was an ordinance written against me. Waukegan resident Blanks, whose poem was recited during audience time 2 weeks before the election, was the impetus for the rules of decorum. Blank's fiery recitation was censored out of the television or the televised edition of the meeting. So you would think out of all those years things would have changed, but yet and still they remain the same. We got this man standing, he got Mr. Peterson here going through the same ordeal, and up here you would have think that you have learned your lessons by now. And I'm not speaking to our new aldermen and people here, but those who have been here know what I'm talking about. And here's a council where, you know, men who call themselves Masons. He questioned your ability to lead. I question your integrity of a Mason, as a fellow Mason. And truly, Mayor,
Mr. Blanks.
no Mason would have homeless kicked out on the street without due notice, try to rob people and violate their rights to speak in the city council meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Blanks.
So you really got to do better. Represent, because you misrepresent.
Alderman Valco.
No comment.
Alderman Taylor.
Couple things. I'm finding graffiti or so-called street art on some of the buildings in my ward. I will say that I'm going to tell you, if it comes out of a spray can, it's graffiti, and I don't want it in the ward. But most importantly, I want young people to understand that whether it's on city, federal, or private property, if you don't have the permission from the owner, it's vandalism, it's a crime, and it will be pursued. Second, I want to talk about grass cutting. I don't know what's happened in this city, but suddenly a ton of people have decided they don't want to cut their grass. I'm going to challenge people to be the example. Have you ever been around somebody with a contagious laugh and suddenly you're with them and you want to do the same thing? Be the example on your block. Take your street, be the example. Cut your grass, do your flower beds. Make this city the charming city that it is. So I'm challenging each and every resident, go and do something on your own property to make it better. Third, I want to congratulate Sergeant Lopez and Patrolman Rasmussen for using the antidote to an opiate overdose. Great job, guys. Thank you.
Alderman Cunningham.
Three things too. One, on grass cutting, I noticed doing the cleanup in the first ward that there were funds from Community Development Block Grant that was used to put that together. With this newfound money, I'm hoping that we can take a look to help relieve our code enforcement department and their tight budgets. If Eavesville can give up some of those dollars in those specific targeted areas to try to cut some of these overgrown grasses of abandoned homes, banks that are not cutting theirs. I know that's been a major cost to Dave's budget, our chairman, our commissioner, building commissioner's budget. So I'm hoping, Ezel, that you and Dave can get together, and if a lot of those homes sit in the first 1 through 6, that you can take those dollars and now push them toward at least cutting this grass once or twice throughout the summer. It's critical. I mean, our areas are what our areas are. I mean, it is what it is. I think we have to manage what it is. Second, I would like to thank everyone for their prayers and well wishes for my mom. My mom had a procedure this past Tuesday where she had a portion of her lung removed. There was a small cancerous cell on that. Everything turned out great. The pathologist report came back to be negative. She's doing very, very well, just recovering in the hospital now. A little discomfort, but those prayers that you were praying, not only for her and our family, have been answered. And now she'll be going through just recovering from that situation. So I thank all of you for sending that out to my mom and to our family. It's really appreciated, and it just lets me know that regardless of what we go through, that Waukegan spirit would always be there, and I appreciate that. Last but not least, I noticed, Chief, and I'm sorry, both chiefs are back there, but Chief Walls, that your Citizens Academy personnel out of all of the parades we do, all the events, everything, they are just there all the time for you and your team. I tell you, and they do it with a smile, and they're just there. And I tell you, if they could probably come and patrol the areas, they would for you. I know they will. I want to send a good shout out and a hearty thank you to those volunteers. I'm pretty sure, Chief, you've already done that. But at all the parades, Memorial Day, 4th of July, and the young lady was just here tonight, the Relay for Cancer. I mean, they do it on the spirit of just having fun. And you can't ask for any better volunteers than that that are out there. So not only to our Citizens Police Academy and the alumni, but to all of those who volunteer for our city, thank you very much. I think I can say this for all of us. We all appreciate what you do. God bless. Thank you.
Alderman Seeger.
I've got a few words. I'd like to thank Mike Jones for being here tonight and stepping forward up about that house. I know we got a big problem there. And I did see the skids, okay? And we'll try and get those removed. Anyways, I had a cleanup May 28th, and it worked out beautiful. Mike joined us. He was part of one of 15. And within 3 hours, we took care of 11th Street, 12th Street, 13th Street, Lions Court, Elmwood Avenue South, Washington Park South. I'd like to thank Southwire, the director Mike Hughes, for cleaning up on the north and south end around the plant. Also, I want to thank him for rescheduling his deliveries. That was kind of disturbing the neighbors, and I talked with him and he worked it all out. But this is unity and progress at work. When you can get a group of volunteers together and they want to go again, and I'm all for it. And we worked about 3 hours that day. I'd like to thank that group, Lake Villa Church of Christ, glory to God. Tony Campos, and his pastor. Thank you so much for all that help. I mean, it was great. I'd like to thank Ace Hardware. I'd like to thank Tom Haggerty, Public Works Director, for all his help, and Pat Needham also. We got it done, and we're going to do it again. I thank you.
Alderman Moiseo.
Thank you. Well, I don't know if it's good news or bad news, but I guess the good news is we own the building. The bad news is, or I guess, depending, maybe not on the council vote, it ain't coming down. But we need to think of a way or find a finance mechanism to get it down, unless we plan on putting a fence around it and looking at it for 20 years. Now, if that's what we want to do, then that's fine. If we want to leave that building down there and let it sit down there for 20 years with a fence around it, and the vagrants will get into it, and it could become a crime scene, just like any vacant building, like the one that Alderman Seeger just addressed and he just addressed. To me, those things are just crimes waiting to happen. That will be too. If we don't get a finance mechanism to get it down. I understand the majority of the council's appetite. We don't have the money right now. That's fine. But we better find an appetite and find some money or figure out a way to get it down, because nothing's happening down there till it comes down. You got what you got. A fence around it and potential crime scene. So we need to think long and hard. Do we want development? We want to take that down? If not, I mean, if their appetite's not there and we don't want development, then just leave it the way it is for 20 years or until I'm in the ground. I don't know. Maybe you can understand my frustration coming through. Maybe it's because I'm optimistic. I've been up here 14 years, waited for development. I'm tired of my friends asking me, when are you going to do something down there? Ad nauseum. We would have been better off, Mayor, I guess maybe, saying we can buy it, but we can't. We have got to start to make decisions up here and tell each other, hey, don't bring this up here because it's not going to pass. Don't do it. Because now we look divided. Now we look all like we don't know what we're doing. We should have just said, hey, we got no appetite for it. We don't have the money. We didn't explain the financing on it right.
Here you go. Now you talk.
We got people all confused about the financing. We got people all nervous. We got to find a way. It's fine and dandy for it to sit there for a couple of years, but you want to look at it for another 20 years? I don't. So we got to find a way. Find a way.
Alderman Villalobos.
I'd like to start off by just kind of agreeing with Alderman Moisio's sentiments there about the building. The timing might be off. Looks like we have to get creative again and try to figure out, find the funding for it. We have Gary Deegan. We could ask him to look into funds, possible grants, whatever we can do. But we got to figure out a way to take that building down. I've been for taking it down for a while. The finances weren't such that we could do it right now. We all didn't feel an agreement on it, but that's okay. But I think at the end of the day, we will get that building down, and I'm sure we'll find a way to do that that we're all in agreement for. This is just a small little hiccup in my mind. So that's what I have to say about that. A couple other things mentioned. It's great to see our Waukegan students doing so well. Speaking about the ones that just received their awards today, about the history fair, going to the state level. I actually personally know two of the students that received the awards, so it's great to see those individuals, Nestor Padilla and Josie Blake. Fine students. I've known them for a couple of years and met their family for some time. Good people. Also, I'd like to bring up what Art Cobb brought up about the Young Professionals event that just happened. I was in attendance on that. It was great to see so many people interested in being involved, particularly. These are young people. I've met people that range from, actually there was a couple that were there under 25. They were 22, 23-year-olds that are involved in the community, that are involved in professional jobs, that want to be involved also in Waukegan more. So that's a great start. Art, I commend you and Main Street for that. I look forward to the next event. I plan on being in attendance on that one. Also, there was a Dandelion Wine Festival that happened this past weekend. That went wonderful until the rain came. It was a good thing. I walked around a little bit, saw the vendors, saw the art. Again, another great event that Waukegan has and hosts. So kudos to the Park District for that and all those who planned it. Some things coming up. Again, talking about the youth. I just met a young boy recently. His name's Austin Cantu. He has taken it upon himself to beautify the art park right here on Genesee Street. I first met his parents last art walk. They had just finished painting the fences there, planting some flowers. The dad was cooking out some amazing food. He had a grill just heaping with food, and people were stopping. Austin also is a photographer, and he is going to be in 9th grade. He's about 13, 14 years old. So to see a young boy take the initiative, I spoke to him and asked him what brought this about. And he said that he met with a gentleman whose family has ties to that little spot there, the art park, and they hadn't moved yet. They were just kind of still planning things out. And he's like, I'd rather see something happen than not. So he took it upon himself, got his family involved. He's inspiring his family. His parents told me, I'm inspired by my son now to see him be this driven and wants to be involved. So I'm meeting with him this week to talk about how I can support his efforts with the art park. I want to help people like that gain networks, gain momentum, and see that Waukegan's behind them. Even if it's just one person at a time, I'm willing to do that. So I'm excited about meeting this young man, Austin Cantu, again, and talking about the future of what he sees for that art park and what he has in mind for other places in Waukegan. This is, again, for me, allowing the youth to be empowered and let them know that their voice is actually heard by us. So I'm excited about that. Also, we have coming up this Sunday at 10 a.m. to clean the Amstuds again. I will be there also picking up trash. As you all know, trash is something I constantly pick up, and I'm all for getting that stuff done. So anybody interested, please be at the print shop there at the end of the Amstuds I forget the address, I'm sorry for that, but North Shore Printers, thank you, Dr. Schwab. North Shore Printers, a little bit before 10. And be sure to wear pants and long sleeves just in case there might be ticks in the ground or in the grass. So, but we'll be there for that one on Sunday, June 12th. Also happening on Sunday, June 12th, for those who might have forgot because it was put out there a long time ago, is the PADS Forum at St. Paul's Church. That's at 2 p.m. I will be present for that too because the homeless are a demographic that I have an interest in. So I invite everyone else to come to that if you have an interest in the homeless and how to help them. I hope to gain some information and insight further about this. So that's that too. And that's it for me today. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being here.
Alderman Newsome.
Thank you. I'd like to touch a little bit on the BRP property. I was in favor of purchasing that property, and I am still in favor of it coming down. But do we take it down right now? That is my question. At the cost of going broke, and there's just so many uncertainties going on. And then with the new things coming up with the money being taken out and investing. So I do believe we'll come up with a resource to take that building down, preferably sooner than later, and it won't have to sit there too much longer. I'll say I'll be optimistic as Alderman Moiseo, not 20 years, not 2 years, maybe not even 1 year, but be optimistic that we'll be able to take that building down soon. And on the grass cutting, I have a neighborhood in my ward over on Sherman Street, and I'd like to commend some of the neighbors over there. They had a resident that passed away, and the home eventually went back to the bank. And they have been cutting this property. They know that it is in process of going to the bank, but they're stepping up to the plate and making sure that that grass is cut so that it does not deteriorate their neighborhood, their street. So I'd like to commend them on taking care of that. And at the Neighborhood Watch meeting last week, it was noted that the back hadn't been cut, so one of the neighbors just volunteered, I'll take care of it tomorrow. I'll get it cut. So I'd like to commend them. I don't know each individual by name, but I would just like to call them the Peterson Group because that's where we meet at his home. So I would like to offer kudos to you neighbors for stepping up and taking care of the grass cutting at the vacant home in your ward. Thank you.
Alderman Tempest.
Pass.
Alderman May.
Thank you. I'm also going to go back to the BRP subject. 20 years. The reason all the rest of the property down there took 20 years, as we all know, is because of the EPA cleanup, because of the years and years and years of destruction that before we knew what we were doing to our earth. It wasn't 20 years because of any administration that's been in power here. It's because that's how long it took the EPA to clean up our lakefront. So let's be clear about that. The EPA has been cleaning the coke plant site and the OMC site for so many years. It's not at any fault of any administration that's been up here. It has to do with the amount of pollution that was done for the number of years, which is another reason we should be worried. As far as appetite for development, yes, we have an appetite for development. I will echo Alderman Newsome. I want to acquire the land down there. I want to take down that building. But when you feel uncertain about something and you have a gut feeling that it's wrong, and then you have an opportunity to take a step back and readdress your decision, I'll be the first to say, yes, I voted for the appropriation. The more digging and digging I did into this issue, I changed my mind. I'm sorry about that, okay? I'm sorry. If someone feels like they were stabbed in the back, that is not the case. The case is this is real money. This is real money. And the money that we have to pay to Northwestern's client next year is real money too. It's not a shell game of money moving from one fund to the other. If a fund has a negative balance, it has more debt than money in it, it's negative. It's not money. So 20 years? No. 20 years is the reason because of all the other EPA cleanups. It's not going to, 20 years is not going to be this BRP building. And as far as this is a rainy day, no, a rainy day is a tragedy. A rainy day is a man who's falsely incarcerated and we have to pay. That's a rainy day. Unexpected expenses. Wanting to take a building down is not a rainy day. It's not a rainy day. We will get that BRP building down, and we will, if there's a developer who believes like we believe in that lakefront, they will participate in the removal of that building. Okay, I'll stop on BRP. I'm gonna echo Alderman Taylor's remarks on graffiti. One of my residents wrote a very eloquent letter to the editor, which has not yet been published, but I'm trying to help her with that. I was going to read it tonight, but I'm going to give the paper a chance to publish it. But it had to do with her walk down our government pier and what she saw. And it's one of our, it should be one of our most proud gateways into our city when boaters come in from different communities and come into our harbor. And be clear, the government pier is a federal pier. That lighthouse at the end of the pier is a federal asset. It does not belong to the city of Waukegan. We're not responsible for it. The Port Authority is not responsible for it, okay? So let's be clear on that. But the fact of the matter is that the graffiti has gotten out of control on our most beautiful gateway into our city. So what I would like to suggest is that we talk to Senator Kirk and Congressman Dold or Senator Durbin to help us. We're one of the major cities in this state. We have a safety harbor of safety. The term is out of my mind right now, but let's enlist their help. This is a federal structure. Let's enlist their help to get this some attention paid to our government pier. It's a mess out there, and it's embarrassing. I thank certain individuals in the city who have taken the initiative to go out there and paint it white time and time again, even though it is, maybe we're not even supposed to do that, but we've done it a couple times, people in the city, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. But bottom line, it's federal property, and we have to get them to pay attention to our gateway to our city. Quick comment on MPU. I just want to commend the administration for reinstating the neighborhood policing unit. I've been working with them diligently on a huge problem in one of my neighborhoods between the neighborhood policing officers and Dave Marion's office. I feel like this neighborhood is getting as much attention as we possibly can give them. I think we're eventually going to come to a resolution on a really one bad property in a neighborhood that just can take a whole neighborhood down. And the source of this problem is drug addiction. There's a heroin addict in this house that's causing havoc for the whole neighborhood. So, you know, when I read in the paper about the programs Mike Nierheim is working on with heroin and with addiction, where you can go into a police department and immediately get resources, I want to know why Waukegan isn't on that list. We should be on that list. I know we do participate in the naloxone, I can't pronounce it, program, and that's great, but we need to give some resources to these people as well. And the only other comment about neighborhood policing, yes, the Citizens Police Academy alumni are fantastic. They help us get off great events in this city. I hope that we are considering bringing the Citizens Police Academy back. I did meet with the leaders of St. Paul Church this weekend, and I'm really proud of them with their involvement in the pad situation. They've been going door to door to all the businesses up and down Grand Avenue in that area, and they're taking an active role. They don't want to be involved in politics. They want to be involved as a member of their neighborhood. So they're talking about neighborhood watch. They're talking about creating a phone tree with all the business owners and the residents around pads, and I think that's a great approach. I think that's a fantastic approach. So kudos to the leaders at St. Paul. And last but not least, I want to commend David Motley and Jane Ferry and Chris Logan and all the beach rangers. The programs that they have started at our lakefront this summer are fantastic. There's education programs, there's prevention programs. I'm really proud of the work that they're doing down there. There's a presence. You guys are doing a great job. The garbage situation, a big shout out goes out to Gary Deegan. His company got the contract for our lakefront coordination, and they worked out the deal with Advanced Disposal to get all those extra roll-off, the containers with the lids and the extra dumpsters down there. They worked a deal with Advanced Disposal. So kudos to Gary Deegan on that, and to the Waukegan Park District for sponsoring the fitness classes, the free fitness classes that are going down. I hope people will take advantage of all that our lakefront has to offer. It looks beautiful. The beach comber, or whatever we're calling it, the surf rake, it's fantastic. It's an inviting place to come down, even with the ugly BRP building there. So that's all I have. Thank you.
A motion adjourned by Alderman Moiseo, second by Alderman Taylor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
The City of Waukegan is replacing about 20,000 water meters with a new automated meter, which provide for an accurate, timely, and reliable reading without having to gain access to customers' properties. The new meters, which will be replaced at no cost to the customers, will be able to identify high water usage and potential leaks. In addition, customers will be able to access their water usage and account information conveniently online. The first thing you need to do is schedule an appointment with Professional Meters, Inc. to have your old meter replaced with a new automated meter reader, AMR for short. Look for a postcard in the mail with the call information or call 866-270-9629. PMI will arrive at your scheduled time to install your meter. They will arrive on a truck or a van with a PMI logo. The PMI installer will have on a shirt or a jacket with a PMI logo and will carry a PMI ID badge. Installers will also wear booties over their work boots to ensure they do not carry dirt, mud, or water into your home or business. The installation process should take less than 30 minutes. The installer will take a photo of the old meter to obtain a record of your final meter reading and the condition of the pipes and fittings. The next step is to turn off your shut-off valves located on your water meter line near the meter. Remove the old meter and install the new AMR meter. The transmitter, which transmits your water usage data to the city, will be placed on a convenient location near the meter. The installer will take a photo of the new meter once it's installed. And that's it. The PMI installer will make sure everything is cleaned up, collect his tools, and head on to the next installation. You may receive a follow-up visit from a PMI manager to ensure your satisfaction with the installation and to make a quality control check of the meter installation. For more information about the automated meter reading installation program, please visit www.waukeganil.gov. If you have any questions regarding the meter installation, contact PMI at 866-270-9629 or the City of Waukegan City Collector at 847-599-2997.